So, the most important thing you can do here with primary trig is knowing how to label your triangles. Okay? The first thing you need to know, the items we're going to label are opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. Okay? And the thing we have to do is we have to look from one spot. So if you take a look at all these triangles, they have a little arch which shows you where to look from. So I'm going to add there. So the angle that we're working with is where we're working from. Okay? We begin with that. Now the hypotenuse is the longest side, right? And it's also across from the 90 degrees. So in this case, 90 degrees here, it's across the side, so that's going to be my H, my hypotenuse. This is your adjacent. Adjacent just means beside. Okay? And I also say touching. So you're looking for the side that is beside the angle, or adjacent to the angle, because adjacent just means beside. So in this one, it's this one here, the adjacent, because this side is right beside the angle. The last one is opposite, okay, and it is opposite the angle, so the side opposite. So that would be labeled as such. So let's do another one. So here we go. Let's look from this angle. It might be a dot sometimes too. So we take a look, we have to label these three sides. Hypotenuse, adjacent, opposite. Well, my hypotenuse is over here, so that's going to be my H. Now look at my adjacent. Which one's my adjacent? It's the one beside the angle. We're touching it, so that one's this one. Because this side is beside the angle I'm looking at. And this one here is the opposite. Okay? Let's do another one. Alright? Let's do this one here. Looking from this angle. So my hypotenuse is across. My adjacent is beside. My opposite is over here. Let's do one more. Let's do there we go. Let's do from here. So where's my hypotenuse going to be? It's across from here, the long side. My adjacent is the one that's beside my angle, or touching it, so it's going to be there, and my opposite is across. So what I want you to do now is pause the video, redraw these triangles here on your page, and practice labeling. The most important thing you can do is make sure that you label things properly. Okay? And I will grab that. Alright, so you're back now. Here are the answers for you. So when you get here, where am I? What I want you to do is pause the video and double check your answers compared to what's here. Okay? So I want you to go through, double check your answers, make sure you have it right, and go through this and practice it. This is the most important thing. It'll make life a lot easier. So pause the video now and check your answers. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look. There's only 3 questions you can ask in SOHCAHTOA in the 90-degree trig. And this is what you should write every time you do it. SOHCAHTOA. So there's 3 trigonometry ratios. Sine, cosine, and tangent. If you look, it tells you what's in them. So in sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that means when you use this, it's opposite side over the hypotenuse side. This one is adjacent over hypotenuse. So it's adjacent over hypotenuse. And this one has opposite and adjacent, so that is opposite over hypotenuse. And there's a theta here in all these, but that's just the angle. We'll work that in as we go. So let's do the first question you can get. Okay, so I'm going to draw a triangle here. Maybe the best 90-degree triangle I can do. And let's, for example, put a 40 in here, an X here, and a 30 here. So we're trying to find what this is right here. Trying to find this side. The first thing I do is I write out everything I could have in this triangle. Opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent, and theta. And theta is just the angle. I take a look and I figure out what I have. And sometimes before I do this, I label my triangle. So this is my hypotenuse. My angle is here, so this is my adjacent. And this is going to be my opposite. So now I know as I go through here, my opposite is x. I'm going to write x down here. My hypotenuse is 30. So I'm going to write 30 there. I don't have an adjacent, but I do have an angle of 40. So the way this works is you take a look at what letters you have. I have an O and an H. So I go back up top here to SOHCAHTOA, and I look for which one has an O and an H. Okay? Sine does. Sine OH. So then I'm going to write down my formula, which is sine theta equals O over H. Right? SOHCAHTOA, sine theta equals O over H. Then I'm going to plug in my numbers that I know. Okay, so it's sine 40 equals x over 30. Now I'm just back to algebra, where I want to solve for the variable. Okay, so if I solve for the variable here, I need to move this over. It's a divide over here, so when I bring it over, it's going to become a multiply. So it's going to end up with 30. Actually, I'm going to do this one. Sine 40 times 30 equals x. And you're going to plug that into your calculator. Now, with that being said, if I grab my calculator here, and I'll use two different calculators so you can see how to work each one. If I'm using any calculator, I need to make sure it's on degrees here, not rads. You might see it with rads or rands. Okay? It needs to be on degrees. So if you're using a calculator like this, the way you plug it in is you're going to go 40 sine times 30. And that will give me my answer of 19.3. Okay? The other type of calculator I could have is something like this. For this one, I would write down sine, and inside these little brackets I would put 40, and multiply that by 30. Oh, what's my mistake here? Oh, I'm on rads. Oh, no, degrees. Sine 40 times 30. Where's my other one? Degrees. 40 sine times 30. 19.8. Did I do it backwards? Sine 40 equals times 30. I think I'm getting two different answers. Oops. Alright. Okay, I'm in degrees mode. There we go. I was in the wrong mode there before. So let's try another one. the shape. Good. Let's say that's a 90 for argument's sake. Let's make this 20 degrees. Oops. That's 20 degrees, and this is X, and this is 10. So as I did with the other one, I start with writing everything down. I'm going to figure out what I have and what I need. Okay, do I have it? Oh, let's label my diagram first. Opposite, adjacent, sorry, hypotenuse, opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent, opposite. So I take a look. Do I have an opposite? Yep, it's X. Do I have an adjacent? Yep, 10. I have an angle of 20. So what two letters do I have here? I have O and A. What here is O and A? That has O and H. That has A and H. Here has O and H. O and A. So I'm going to use tangent. It's going to be the one I'm going to use. So tan theta equals O over A. So that equals tan 20 equals X over 10. So now I have to move this 10 over. It's a divide on this side, so it's going to come over and become a multiply. Tan 20 times 10 equals X. And then let's plug that in the calculator. So this will be 20. This time I'm going to hit the tan button. Oops. Did I go 20? 20 tan times 10. So 3.6. If you have a calculator like this, where's my other one? I would go, and I could also go 10 times tan 20 equals 3.6. There we go. So that's question 1 you could get. Question 2. Let's write down SOHCAHTOA again. Always write this down. Alright, so I have this here. Now let's draw a new triangle. There we go. And I'm going to put 15 in here. Okay, so the same thing as usual. Sometimes I mix up what order the letter is just because I do. Let's figure out what we have. So let's label everything first. So that's my hypotenuse, it's across from it there. This is my adjacent, and this is my opposite. Okay? So now I have my hypotenuse is H, my opposite is 10, and my theta is 15. So I have O and H. Okay, so which one am I going to use up here? Okay, here's O and H, so I'm going to use sine theta equals O over H. Now I'm going to go back in and plug everything in. Sine 15 equals 10 over X. Okay, now I have to rearrange it, okay, because I need that X there. There's two ways I can rearrange this. One, I can move this over to the other side. So it's a divide over here, so it comes over and becomes a multiply. So X sine 15 equals 10. But I still don't have X all by itself. So I got to move this part here over. Okay, right now it's a multiply, so when it comes over, it's going to become a divide, which will leave me with X equals 10 over sine 15. Okay, so let's plug that in my calculator. Which one should I use first? Let's use this one first. So I'm going to go 10 divide by 15 and then press the sine button. Sine equals 38.6. Now let's try with the other calculator, so just in case. So this will be 10 divided by sine 15. 38.6. Okay, the other way you could do this is I could look at this and say, oh, I need that x on top, so let's flip it. So I'm going to flip x and 10. Well, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So I'm going to flip this, which would end up as 1 over sine 15. Then I'm in the same place where I have the 10 on the bottom as a divide, so I need to bring it over. So it's going to become a multiply. And in this case, 10 times 1 is just 10. So we end up in the same place, okay, as this one here. But if you look to the original question, before we start to rearrange it, what happens between these two? Between this step here, what do you notice between this is the beginning and these two here? What happens with this and this? They end up just switching places. So from now on, as long as you understand that, once you get to this step and you go, oh, those are going to switch places, and you just swap them. And then you're in the same place. Okay? So let's do one more question like that. Alright. Opposite adjacent hypotenuse theta. I want you to try to fill in this little thing here. I'll give you a minute to fill this in, whether it's in your head or actually on paper, before we check on it, okay? What time did my recording stop? 10:58. Why did it stop? I wonder if it's if I click out of... No. Okay. Who wants to tell me what I have here? You can write it in chat, or you can tell me via your microphone.
Yeah.
Which is what? Good.
And data, which is 30. And
A is 20, right? There is no O this time. If it helps you, if you find yourself getting mixed up, label your triangle first before you try to start putting stuff in. So which ratio are we going to use? So, ka, or toa?
wait, no. We're going to use
Ka. So cosine. Cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Right? Then let's fill everything in. Cos 30 equals 20 over x. Now what do I do with these two? I switch on them, right?
30. What?
Does that make sense? Yeah. Right, I could move it around, right? And let me see you get your, let me see what the answer we get here is. You guys can write it in chat or tell me if you wish. Good. Good. Lawrence, I don't know what G is. Okay, good. I don't know. Yes, go. Okay. I know. I'm not that old. Right after, I forget who gave the answer. I, I, I believe he was agreeing with the answer that Tej gave or Christopher gave. All right. So, I'm muting you again, Matthew. Okay, so we're now done 2 of the 3 types of questions we could get here, okay? Now let's do the third one. So I'm going to draw a different triangle, and this hasn't been difficult yet, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's, well, you guys tell me, do you find this difficult, or are we understanding it? This is discrimination. That wasn't my answer. That was my question. So let's go with this one. This time, oops, we're going to go like this. Okay, we have a triangle that looks like this. Oops. So, Tej, no swearing. What do we have here this time? Can someone? Which is what? Good. 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 What are we going to use? So, Ka, or Toa? Toa, good. So we're going to write it down. Tan theta equals O over A. And let's put everything in. Tan x equals 10 over 15. And we can answer that by tan x equals 0.66 repeated. Do we have x yet? No, yeah. We have tan x. Right?
Oh, well, that's x. So.
It's tan x. Very good. Because tan, it's tan multiplied by x. So we have tan 0.66 divided by tan. But if you look at your calculator, you won't see that. What you will see is this on your calculator. No, you don't see it right now, but if I back up to your calculator here, you have to press second, and now you see it. So watch what you'll type in here. You're going to go 10 divided by 15. Okay. Then, when you get this answer, you'll press second function and press tan to the negative 1. Okay? Okay. Now, for people such as Lucas with this one, right? He could do it either way. He could go, usually with this calculator, you can go tan divided by 15 equals, then from here, you should be able to go second function to the negative 1. And that answer, and then he can just press enter and it will come out. Or what you could do is go sine to negative 1, then in here, press 10 divided by 15 inside the bracket. Oops. And press equals. Something's going on there. How come I have a different answer? Something's weird going on with that. We'll go back to this one. Okay, was everyone able to get that answer? Yes or no? Who's that? Ben? Alright. So, are you watching my screen now, Ben? Oh, Ben disappeared on me. Are you having... It's not lunchtime, is it? No, but on the new schedule we go till 12:30ish, don't we? We're like one question away from being on homework / break time. And I can't see your camera, so if you want to go get something, unless you're making unless you got to make something, you always have a snack beside you, Jordan. I'm muting you now. Okay, Ben, are you back? Ben? Okay. You have your iPhone, right? So what you're gonna do is go 10 divided by 15, press equals, and then press second function, and press, we're using tan, right? And tan. Okay? Oh, I understand what I did wrong here. I used sine instead of tan on this one. Okay, do you guys want one more question like that? We'll do one more here.
I'm personally probably no more.
Okay. Well, how about I leave the question here, and I want to see if you can get it all by yourself. All right. Let's make this one here. Let's make this 36, and make this one 10. Okay then, I'll redo it. What numbers did I use? What two numbers did I use? There. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yes, Cameron? Yes, Colin? No, it was at 9:30. I was tired. I used to love that tournament, and now I'm a little bit against it. Yeah, Americans are good players. The Canadians. Oh, relax. The Canadians didn't play. Okay, let's finish this question first. Write your answer in the bottom here. Matthew, I'm muting you again. Okay, let's get this question done. Who's got the answer? I want the answer, not the steps. You're killing me, Christopher.
Hold on, don't put the answer. No one's seen.
Ben. Ben, you got the two best lines of the whole day so far. let's get on task here in chat. I want to see the next person. I want to see you write an answer. Tej, Lawrence, Matthew.
I have to forget what it is. I don't have anything on it. It's so. What's that thing supposed to be?
That's supposed to be theta. See that down there? There's a nice one. Yeah. Matthew, I'm not sure why I call everyone. Lago I only call by their last name. And Z, I don't even pronounce their whole name, so. Sometimes just rolls off the tongue easier. No, just brackets around it. He's right, and you're right. He's doing the answer part. You're doing the first step part.
Oh.
Yeah. So what he was doing was this. What he wrote was that.
Yeah.
So we got 16.1.
Yeah. I got 16.1.
So that is all of 90-degree tricks. Okay? No, there's non-90-degree trig, which we'll tackle on Friday. Which is like when you have triangles that aren't 90 degrees. How to find that. It's pretty easy. In your notes to self, there's a whole, we pretty much almost did a whole page here. Okay? Oh, how did that come out like that? What I'll do is I'll fill this in as you guys are working on your homework, / before break. And then I'll post this later today. So you can copy it down as best you wish, okay? Does that sound fine?
Yeah. Yeah. If you take your distraction.
Pardon? What challenge? Oh. No, we were a little bit longer, but it wouldn't have been... It would have been a half hour, 40 minutes. Like if I didn't do 2 examples of each, and if I had just... But no one distracts me. I spent 10 minutes. I spent 10 minutes muting you. Okay. So your homework has. So your homework has a bunch of questions. Do you have to do them all? No, I'd probably do half of them. If I were you. Pop around, do some of them, right? Make sure you do some that have angles you have to do, and some that have to do sides. So I'd probably do like all like the left-hand side to make sure you know what you're doing. Okay?
Okay.
Now between now and what's 12:45 is my next 12:30, I guess. In between now and 12:30, you can work on your homework or have lunch. I'll be online if you want to, if you need any questions answered. Okay? Yes. I know. Where is that again? Satoa, yeah. Yeah, so change that one to a C, of course. Editing and double checking is not my greatest strength. So, good. Okay, I'll let you guys fire away. I might go make my kids lunch right now, real quick. If you have a question, just put up your hand, and when I come back, I'll answer it for you. But go get some food. I'm pretty sure Matthew's already gone. And
Wait, is this for